Hey, what's up, everybody? We're back. It's Sandra, Sonia, and Angie, the Horror Flick Chicks. We're back with another episode of the Horror Flick Chicks podcast. What's up, guys? How are you?
Hey, did you miss us?
Of
Yes,
course they
they
did.
did. Of course they
Of course
did.
they did.
I
So,
missed us. Aw.
I know.
well,
Like,
it's great to be back. And we are starting up right now with a new series, but first, let's see what's been going on. How's the summer been going?
It's working, family, trying to set
Oh,
up for our fall, Harvick Chicks fall.
yeah.
yeah,
So yeah,
y'all.
Hope to have
We
some
got
fun
some.
stuff happening.
We do. I can't wait.
I'm actually very excited about this new series we're gonna talk about.
Yes, me too. But we also like to point out first of our cute little jewelry that we're all wearing.
Nice.
I love it.
It goes
Killer.
perfect with this series.
That's
It's
yes, it
killer. It's
does. It
killer.
does. It's killer. All right, so as you can tell, we are doing this season's podcast about only murders in the building.
Ta-da.
And if you haven't heard about it or if you haven't seen it, it's a series that is on Hulu. It is now on season 3. And you can see the pictures. It stars the great Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Selena Gomez.
Yeah.
It's a great series, has obviously tons of comedy.
And if you love New York, this is
Yes,
the
and
show
it's
for
very
you.
New York. Yes, it's based in New York.
Just like the three ladies here.
Yes.
Yeah.
We love series. We love series and movies that are based out of New York. It's just obviously because we're from here, so we feel more. I feel like we feel more connected to them and some of the characters because we know where they're going most of the time,
Yeah. Isn't
where they
that it's
are.
cool to see like the New York City streets
Yeah,
and all
and
that and
and the the
buildings and
restaurants and
yeah.
landmarks and things like that. Yeah.
And I want to like before we go further, I want to say like, you know, if you guys have seen the show, it's not really a horror show, right? Like
Yeah.
we've been really reviewing horror shows, horror movies, things like that. And this is not really something like that, but it is a murder mystery show. So I think
Yes.
that's very much in line with the horror genre. That's a part of
Yes.
the horror genre. So, and we really love this show, and I've been watching it from season 1, season 2. So that's why we thought we wanted to do this show because I don't think I've ever seen podcasts or even real reviews like this on this show. So I thought it would be cool to do
No.
it.
Yeah, I mean, there probably are some out there, but I haven't personally seen any either. So I think this is going to
Yeah.
be fun, and we get to introduce it to people that may have not heard of it or
Yeah.
know about it. Maybe they can catch it and see it because it's a really good show.
For a little while, I was listening to like the official Hulu podcast on the show. And that was just
Oh,
fun because like on my ride into work on the subway, I would listen to it. But now
Yeah,
we're gonna talk about it. So now y'all can listen to us too.
right. That's right.
okay. So like we said, this is season 3 now. So and like Sonia said, the series is about murder mystery. So basically, these 3 characters, they all live in one building in New York City, and they a murder happens. This is season 1. Murder happens in the building, and they decide to investigate it and start a podcast about the investigation. Kind of going on the what's like the true crime podcast. They have like a true crime podcast, but it's about this murder in their building, and their podcast is called Only Murders in the Building because it's happened in their building. So, season
In New
1
York, Arconia.
in the
I
Arconia.
had to look that up because I
That's
was
the
like,
name of the building, yes, in New York that they live
kind of
in.
like the Dakota, but Arconia has that big gate. You know which one it is, right? like on the Upper West
I
Side?
think so.
It's that one kind of close to like 72nd Street. I always love that building because it has these big gates and you have to walk into that courtyard, which is where a lot of the conversations happen. A lot of the murder stuff goes on.
The murder talk.
The murder, yeah.
Um,
The
okay, so yeah,
fans hang out there.
Yeah, the fans
oh yeah,
of the
they do. So yeah, season one, they go through the whole thing, they solve that murder, and then obviously there's season two, there's another murder in the building. And this one this one was the board president, Bunny, the board president, and same thing throughout the season. They have the podcast about it. There's another true crime podcaster that's doing her own podcast, and they kind of clash with certain things. But then at the end of at the end of season two, they also reveal the killer. They find out who the killer is. And so the last episode of season two, after they find out who the killer is and they uh they take the killer away, the police
Can
take
we,
them
I'm
away.
sorry, can we go over who, like the main characters and who they are and what they do, etc.? Because I feel like that kind of goes into that last episode of
Oh,
season
sure.
two. Right, so Martin Short, Oliver is played by Martin Short, and he's a playwright, and he back in the day he
Director at
directed
Broadway.
a Broadway show, wrote a Broadway show, and it bombed.
Flash.
And it bombed, and
Yeah, years ago it
yeah,
bombed.
a long time ago, but he's very much in that scene, and he's very dramatic, and
And he's a starving director.
he's pretty
Yeah.
right, exactly. He doesn't have a lot of money, he's not rich, right? So that's his character. And then Charles is played by Steve Martin, and Charles is an actor, right? He was in a old show, again, back in the day, very popular show,
Pop show. Brazos.
yeah, cop show, and that's kind of what
I love it.
people know him from and everything. And then Selena Gomez, Mabel is played by Selena Gomez, and she lives in the building. Her aunt used to live in the building, and she had passed away, so now
Her No, she didn't pass away. Her aunt owns the apartment
her aunt owns the
and she
apartment.
lives in the building, but she didn't pass away.
Okay, and so she lives in the apartment, and they met putting together kind of the clues and everything of this murder that happened, and they became friends. And then they
Friends, yeah.
again, like Sandra said, season two came, another murder happened, and they go on and they're kind of investigating everything. So you get to the end of season two, and they solve that crime, they solve that murder, and then it's kind of like a flash forward, and you see Oliver.
I think it's a year later.
Yeah, and Oliver has a new show on Broadway that he's putting out. He's very excited about. It's opening night, and you see the actor come on stage, and he collapses, and everyone's like, basically, he's dead. He's now moving. So that's how it ended. So the ending of season two is how season three began.
Right.
Yeah. Can I just say one thing about the actors? Besides those three main actors, and there's been amazing cameos, namely Tina Fey,
Yes.
Shirley MacLaine, Michael Rappaport, and then in this new season we get a few new cameos.
Oh, we also had Nathan Lane,
and
Cara Delevingne, Amy Schumer. They were all in the first two seasons. Like, they have, like, big time famous actors.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say it's a cameo, but yeah, they have a lot to do with.
It's been really cool. I gotta say, the acting is like spot on. The writing is spot on. I
mean, these are top actors.
I love watching this show.
Yeah.
In this season so far, there's 2 episodes out in season 3, and Paul Rudd is in it. Meryl Streep is in it.
Meryl
Like,
Streep,
Crazy.
that took me by surprise because I actually didn't see any like I've been busy this summer, so I haven't really watched too many like trailers. I don't know if she's been in any trailers,
I
but
don't.
that was
I
a
didn't
They've been putting, she's been in some
in certain
stills on
clips.
like
Instagram.
article. Yes, I've
Yeah.
seen.
See,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't know about it, so it was
I
nice
forgot about it though,
when
but I
I
do remember seeing her in some
yeah,
articles. Yeah.
when I watched it, I was like, oh my God, they got Meryl Streep for this show. So yeah.
Yeah. So I
Paul
mean,
Rudd is hilarious.
so far with this season, I mean, they're already bringing out A-listers. Jesse Williams is in this too.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
yeah.
So,
was the
he had a
cameraman.
small part so
Yeah.
far, but but so far, this is the people that we're seeing. So this is actually really great to see who pops up in these episodes.
Can I just say Ryan Bussard, who plays Will Putnam, is eye candy. Let me just say. Sorry,
Oliver's son.
Oliver's son. I like it when they do that little number, the like kind of Chicago number,
Oh
and he's
yeah.
like, daddy. And I was like, oh, you're a daddy, bro. Sorry. I'm sorry. Go back.
So
Yeah.
so yeah, they get to the end of season 2. Paul Rudd is the main actor in this play, and he collapses on stage. Right. So we picked that up on the first episode of season 3. And the ambulance comes, they take him out, all this stuff, and everyone thinks he's dead. Right. And then they go to a party, like a
It's
opening,
like a rap party,
like a
but
rap
now
party
it's
that was already set up and planned for the opening night
right.
of the show. And Oliver's like, let's just go to the party, and from there we can kind of talk and all that. And then who shows up? Right? Paul Rudd. He's not dead. I was like, what? He's not dead.
Well, he said he was dead, but he
said he
got
did die. Something happened. He did die for a few minutes, but then he came back to life. And I guess that does happen, right?
I guess so.
I think it's very rare, but I think it does happen.
Wait,
And
can I just say he shows up at the party where they're kind of like, it was supposed to be like the post play like celebration party.
Yeah, the rap party.
The rap party. And so all the actors were there. One other person I want to point out is Ashley, what's her name? Ashley Park. Yes, Ashley Park, who was recently in Emily in Paris, Joyride, and she plays Kimber. And it's really nice to see a very diverse cast. Just wanted to say that.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
And then he comes back and he's alive and everyone's shocked, and they're gonna, the play is on, right?
The play is back on, yeah.
So they're happy. And then but then you see Meryl Streep's character, and she's not very happy that he's back.
Yeah.
Right? She doesn't like him, he's an asshole. She's kind of
he's kind of has a reputation.
He is. He's not. He's kind of a little bit abrasive and
arrogant and
yeah, a little bit. But it's clear. You can see from her face and from her expression what she said. She doesn't like him. She storms out. All that happens, and then we fast forward, and then we get to, there's a lot of dialogue in this show especially between the 3 main characters, and they're, talking about just different things and their life and what's going on in the building and whatever. And then you see them in their elevator and, making jokes it's not really jokes, right? Because they're not making like blatant jokes to each other. It's just like that dry humor. But it's so funny.
They're hilarious together. They're hilarious. And it's what's so great about it is there's so many things that go down in that elevator, literally.
I know.
Yeah.
So
I know.
It's pretty amazing. So while they're in there, they're like, yeah, we're so glad that, this guy is alive. And, Oliver is thinking the show can go on. That's actually the name of the episode. The show must go on. So they're thinking, okay, this is great. Like, this is another story to tell, and this will give us more exposure and whatever. So it turns out that while they're saying all of this, a body comes, blood starts dripping down on Steve Martin's hat. And Selena Gomez's character Mabel recognizes that there's something dripping. All of a sudden, a body falls out of the ceiling, and
they run out the elevator. The elevator opens, they run out, and the ceiling breaks, body falls down. And who is it?
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd. Ben Glenroy.
Right.
That's his character.
Yeah. I kind of feel like I kind of always want to call him Cobra.
Yeah, Cobra. I love that.
Cobra.
I love how like
or Girl Cop.
Yeah.
Yeah, Girl Cop, which was Mabel's crush.
That's so funny.
So yeah, he's dead. So now he's really dead.
Yeah. Right.
And there's a and they were also another funny thing I want to point out. So when he died in the theater, they were kind of making a joke. The three of the main characters, they were kind of making a joke how they can't really do a podcast about it because the guy didn't die in the building. Like if he really died, it was like a thing. But then when they actually saw him die, they said, well, now,
right,
so now they start.
So season 3 started with 2 episodes. It's gonna have an episode weekly, but it started out with 2 episodes. So episode 2 again started right where episode 1 left off. The cops come, they investigate, but the
neighbors are pissed again.
Before they leave, Mabel takes pictures of Paul Rudd, of the body. And they at some point they start to talk about trying to investigate and start this podcast again and figure out who killed Paul Rudd. And episode 2 also did a lot of like background on his character, the actor, him rehearsing for the play with Oliver, and also why he has tension with Charles. Remember, Charles is an actor as well, and it turns out they have history that he's been holding on to all this time, and Charles had no idea. Right. So they kind of go into that too. We also find out. Well, I think it's in the first episode we find out Mabel is gonna move out the building because her aunt sold the apartment, so she's gonna leave. So yeah, now they have this other murder in this building that they're gonna investigate, and they're gonna do another episode of another series of this podcast that everyone loved because they had all these fans.
Except really some of the people in the building. They don't really like it.
Well, some of the people because
neighbors are always pissed.
Yeah, it brings so much like an attraction stuff to the building, extra people in the building.
Okay. If you were to say now, up until episode 2, who done it? Let's say who each of us thinks.
So I had my suspect list.
Okay, go ahead.
So my first suspect is Meryl Streep. Yes. Although I gotta say, in the first two seasons, I didn't necessarily know who did anything. They do a really good job in this show. I'm telling you. Of keeping you kind of in the dark of knowing who did what and everything. But I'm thinking Meryl Streep only because the way she spoke about
the way she was acting,
she walked out. Yeah, so that's my first one.
But that might be too easy.
It might be too easy. But for now, she's on my list. She might.
Okay, who's your second one?
And then I thought it was that.
You only get one more.
Well, I had 3, but quick.
No. One more.
Well, I only had that security guard guy that was in episode 2, but he's not it because he was just like a fan, and he was like a weird stalker kind of fan. So he crossed on my list. And then just kind of a dot in the, I thought Charles maybe, but I was like, they can be Charles, but it would be kind of cool if they
Yeah,
made
I
it
don't think it is.
Charles, right? Because Paul
That
Rudd
would be crazy.
in the backstory, whatever.
Okay,
So he was
Sandra.
saying that he's
I
I'm gonna get you,
actually,
make your life hell throughout this whole show. So I was like, oh,
right.
it'd be kind of cool if they did that, but I doubt that it's him, but I put him on the list anyway. Okay.
I actually didn't think about who might be the killer. I wasn't even thinking about that.
Okay, but you got to pick one.
I right now I would say
Two.
Meryl Streep's
Three.
character.
Okay. I as much as I want to say it's Meryl Streep, it's too easy for me.
I don't think it's her, but
I actually think it might be Kimber, played by Ashley Park, because her and what's his name? Ben Glenroy
yeah.
had sort of a thing going, and nothing leads us yet to believe that she might have done it, but I really have a feeling that they're going to point it onto one of the actors. So it's either her or it might be Ty, who's the other actor in the show. And I feel like they're going to come back with us with some details on
possible.
the other
It's gonna be
characters.
somebody that we don't really think.
Or there might be more characters coming, but
yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's
now,
why these are not final lists, folks. We're just kind of throwing teams out there.
no, as for now, from what we know and what we've seen, that's the story, right?
But if you guys haven't checked out this show, we highly recommend it. Again, we're on season 3 of Only Murders in the Building. So make sure you watch season 1 and 2 if you want to get in with the fun. It's on Hulu Tuesday nights, new episodes. Check it out. Thanks for following us and thanks for checking out our podcast. We're glad to be back. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook, Horror Flick Chicks, and also follow our YouTube channel, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe. We got a lot of content on there and we want you to enjoy it all. And until next time, I'm Sonia with Sandra and Angie saying peace, love, and horror.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.
That's the end.